Hey, you boys lost? Hey, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. While you're here, come on out here and check out my yard on LT Turf. Well, this is my front yard, and I call it my yard. It's around my home and surrounded by the cryptomeria. When we moved in 10 years ago, we, meaning me and my kids, we installed every bit of landscaping that you see out here. There was nothing here, blank canvas, and I wanted to kind of enclose the yard in and create a space for me and my family. So that's why the border of the cryptomeria are here. I renovated the turf shortly after that. This is turf type tall fescue, and I'd say about 4, 5, 6 years after the renovation, I introduced some Kentucky bluegrass to it. And then this year, 2021, I actually introduced a little bit of rye. So we call it a mutt yard, is what we call it. These trees were not here. All the crepe myrtles were not here. I planted these, and believe it or not, they were ball and burlap and about yay high. And you can see in a matter of 10 years, they have really grown. Of course, that comes with a lot of fertilization and caring for them properly and that kind of thing. And they've just really taken off. A lot of people don't see this side of the house, and you can see it's a daggone wreck. So that's why they don't see it. All of this used to be grass, what we're standing on. It was like a little strip that come through here. I'm really in favor of when you can't grow grass in the area, or when it's really difficult to grow grass in the area, do something different with it. Quit fighting the turf. Quit trying to make the grass grow in a place that's not gonna grow. And you can see all this dense shade over here. So I basically turned all this into pine needles, natural area. And at some point in time, we're gonna put some type of a patio here, like a little fire pit. And this back here is my backyard. And same as the front, you know, fescue, bluegrass, rye mix. And we really like coming out here and hanging out. It's just a cool space. You know, we got this buffer all around us where we can kind of somewhat be isolated, but it's hard to be so isolated in a neighborhood. So me and the kids and wife, we love it back here. My patio over here is something really unique. None of this was here when we moved in 9 years ago, 10 years ago. My kids were this tall, and I've always wanted to instill a good work ethic in my kids. When they were this little, we had pallets of all this rock and pavers sitting out here, and I made a 4 and a 5-year-old tote every single one of these you see. They toted them to me while I was on my hands and knees laying them. And I think, you know, starting them off young like that, hopefully it kind of falls into their future as far as the work ethic goes. This is kind of what it turned into. It's kind of a wreck right now. We've been busy. And this back here is the GCI Turf Blue Heat, Kentucky Bluegrass, and I like it a whole lot. Typically we cut grass here in North Carolina, the fescue up high, 4.5 inches. That way it shades the ground, helps the ground to hold more moisture. So I got into real mowing, watching Connor Ward on YouTube and looking at his yard, and I was just blown away at how that bluegrass looks. So I said, you know what? I don't care what they tell me. They always say you can't have bluegrass where I live. I said, watch it. I'm gonna make bluegrass grow here. And as you can see, it's doing pretty good. It hangs in there, you know, pretty good during the summer. It ain't quite as drought tolerant as the fescue, but I'm on a well, so I have, you know, pretty much unlimited water. So now over here, this is my shop yard. As you pull into the shop, I want people to see grass, nice pretty green grass, and this is Tiff Tough sod. And I'm kind of in the middle of doing a little experiment, and we're gonna leave this section dormant. The middle over here is rye overseed, and then the far left over there next to the road, we're gonna actually paint it with a dye, with a pigment that you can paint turf with. And I'm doing this basically to show my high school coaches the difference in the 3 different ways to manage Bermuda in the wintertime and going into the transition period when the Bermuda wakes up.
All right, Pete, if you had to let a celebrity take care of your yard for a month while you're gone on vacation, who would you choose?
I'd have to go with, who's the guy that plays Thor?
Chris.
Chris Hemsworth.
Why?
Because he's man enough to handle my mower.
That's exactly what I thought. Yep, that C34.
It's a beast.
Gonna take somebody as big as Thor.
It's a beast.
Describe your relationship status with turf. Was it love at first sight? Going steady? A rocky road, more like a roller coaster? Or would it be, it's complicated?
I'm passionate about turf. I mean, I actually have to be, because I make a living doing it, growing it, manicuring it, taking care of it. But at the end of the day, it's really no more than that to me. So this is where my maintenance guys come in and get loaded up. We run 3 maintenance crews, mowing, that kind of thing. Typically they go out with a push mower, a right ZK, and a right walk behind. And during leaf season, we use the big blowers, stuff like that. The times we do get snow, we got some cabs for the grasshoppers that we'll throw on. We got a few extra mowers sitting around. I'm a spare guy. I like to keep a spare around, something breaks. Then here's all the seeding equipment. Typically would run 4 seeding crews, so 4 fertilizer crews, and each crew would have a aerator, a grasshopper aerator. They're around here somewhere, right here, and then a spreader, and then a stinger plugger. And of course we've downsized a little bit, so I've actually got 1 extra set of equipment sitting around. This is my baby right here. This is what I spray my athletic fields with. I absolutely am in love with this machine. And then a lot of you have seen the ABI Force. That's what we use to do baseball infield renovation type work. It's a lot of cool stuff, and the guys really appreciate having nice equipment to run, and I take a lot of pride in making sure they have that. And here's one of the Ventracs. We have 2 of these, and hands down, if I had to pick one piece of equipment to own, it would absolutely be the Ventrac, because I can do pretty much anything I want to. With one tractor, you pick the job with the different attachment you put on the front of it. So it's really changed our company and allowed us to do a lot more different services for customers. I call this one my spider, because I can put a mower deck, a bush hog. You pick the attachment, and with all these extra tires, I can climb whatever you want to climb with it. Come on over here and we'll get my mowers out of the shed. I'll show you what I'm working with. This is my right walk behind. A lot of folks get confused about it because of the color, because right's a yellow mower. I'm good buddies with Ed, who owns Right. I called him up and said, hey, can you hook me up, paint me a black mower? And he did. That's why the paint scheme is black. This is my Allet Uplift 86. The way Allet markets it, it's not an actual mower. It's more of a vacuum to like really clean up sports turf fields, to really give them a fine manicured look, pick up any debris so that they have a perfect playing area. I use it as a lawnmower because it cuts great. It's actually, out of all the mowers I've owned over the 20 years I've been in business, this mower cuts better than any mower I've ever used. So as far as a smaller mower, I'd say this is probably my favorite. And this is my Allet C34. When I got into reel mowing, I looked at all the different reel mowers, and I'm the type of guy that when I buy something, I like to buy the best I can possibly buy. That's why I chose the Allet. Everybody's got their own opinion about which is the best, but in my opinion, I thought this was the better reel mower out there, so that's why I went with it. And it's the biggest reel mower. It's 34 inches wide, and as you can see, I've got a lot of reel mowing out here to do, so I needed the widest possible, cut width I could get.
So this looks like a whole lot of work. We see you on YouTube you're taking care of a business, you're taking care of this amazing yard, you're running a YouTube channel. Why do you do all this? What is your why?
There's 4 reasons inside that house. They're all sitting in there right now, watching TV, eating. Somebody might be taking a nap. They might be fighting. I don't know what they're doing. That's the reason I get up and go to work every single day, is to make sure that my family is absolutely provided for from A to Z. And of course, who doesn't want cool things in life? You know what I'm saying? I got a race car in the garage. In order to own something like that, you have to work and make money. And so that's why I bust my tail day in and day out, so you can have stuff and to provide for my family.
So normally at this point, we would ask somebody what their favorite YouTube channel is and bully them into saying that it's the Lawn Tools. But for you, we're going to do something a little bit different. We want to ask you about Team Jacks. We want you to tell us about your favorite charity.
Well, of course, it's for my son. Absolutely. 10 years ago, when he was born with thoracic insufficiency syndrome. It's a combination of scoliosis and his rib cage. He only has like 4 or 5 ribs. And the 4 or 5 that he had were kind of mangled up and beat up and jacked up. That's real scary stuff. After some going around here locally, nobody had a clue what to do. They'd never seen it before. We landed in Philadelphia, and he had a surgery where the doctor put 2 titanium rods in that connect up here and go down to his pelvis on both sides. And then he's got 2 titanium rods that keep his rib cage open. I've never had to worry the first time with any of it as far as money goes and support, but every single step of the way, God has provided. We have not paid a dime to this day when it deals with Jax and what he's got going on. So fast forward 8-9 years, everything's good. We set up a foundation, and so when money comes in, we don't use the money for us, because now we're in a position now financially where we pay for all of his medical stuff ourselves. But we take that money that comes in and we go to Philadelphia, and man, there's nothing like handing a person who you don't know their financial status. They may not have a dime in their pocket, and hand them a check for $5,000, whatever it may be. So that's what the foundation does, is helps families who have children just like my son. And it has been an incredible ride. Well, you've seen my turf, you've seen my mowers. It's time for you to go. Get off my turf.